Okay, so the next type of tracing is more for your art that you've drawn in some other program or on pencil and paper, but it's still using the computer's tracing features to help speed things up. Um, Still the basic process of the logo, though. You start with the file, place, you go find your image, which mine happens to be up here. Where there it is, rows. Now I've done this in Sketchpad, which is a drawing software, and then I did a nice bold uh, black outline on it that I could import into here. One of my other videos shows you that process. Um, but I clicked and brought it in, and it's way too big. But that's okay. You want your image to be kind of big. Larger images do transfer in a little bit better. But now you can see I got a nice line drawing here, and I want to let the computer trace this instead of having to go in and do individual ones. This method that I'm using works on low to medium complexity images because it's not perfect, but it can speed you up. But once you get your image in, you just go up to the tracing presets, and this time you're going to choose line art. And since it's a large image, it's going to continue slowly. But depending upon how fast your computer is, how much processing power, it shouldn't take too long. And there we go. Didn't take too long at all. Now, it is still just a raster image. And if you zoom into the corners especially, you can see that it didn't do a 100% perfect line. You can come over here and mess around with the thresholds a little. That did not do good, so Control Z to undo it. And this process kind of takes a little while. Most of the time it comes in pretty decent, and I just run with that and then go fix it. That was why I was saying low to medium complexity on it. You click expand. Now that it's expanded, I'm going to go ahead and put it down to the size of my panel. And then I'm going to center it. It's a little big, so we'll bring that down to 11. Center it. And then go back to full size here. Now, it looks pretty good, but if you get in and start exploding it up, now you can see that there are some spots where it just didn't connect. And that's where you just kind of got to come in and clean it up a little bit. You can grab this little hand, move that out of the way for a second, now put it back. Okay, so grab this little handle, bring it over here, select both of them, and then if you hit Control and J, you will join them. You can also go to Object, Path, Join, and now that is joined. If you want it to be a little bit pointier, you can select one of the nodes, and then this little Remove Select Anchor Point, boom. Play with those a little bit. That gives me a little bit pointier, and I like that. And you're just going to work around the image, doing that on all of the spots where it didn't quite intersect properly. Okay, sometimes it just wants to give you, keep selecting. I'm trying to select the node, but it keeps giving me the handle. Hold Shift and select. Now I've got both of them. And then Shift select again to select the other one. Now I've got that one and I can move it around. But it was a really small little line. And you just move it in to intersect over here. If you still can't get it by doing the shift and all that, just zoom in farther, grab it, and put it in place. Zoom back out, and you're going to continue to do that around the entire image. If this was a more complex image, this would not be a viable solution, because this cleanup method would be taking you longer than just using the pen tool and tracing it. If you're not really good with the pen tool, I highly recommend practicing it and getting better with it, but this method can help you out until you get better with that tool as well. Now, I'm not going to spend time doing every last one of these. I'm just doing enough of them to where you get the idea of what to do. All I'm doing is holding the space bar, or if you have a center mouse button underneath your wheel, you push that, and that brings up the little hand tool and lets me slide around. And I work my way around the entire image. That node I don't want. Now I got a little bit pointier leaf. But yeah, you will go and you will do that to every little one. And for the most part, it's only on your sharp points that needs to be done too. Once you've got that, it should all just be one line. You need to use the Pathfinder tool to remove double cuts or anything like that. This one only brings in the single line. Pretty basic and straightforward there. Quite powerful and can speed you up on less complex images like this one. The next one, we're going to use the pen tool, and I highly recommend getting acquainted with that pen tool and practicing. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but for more complicated images, it's actually faster to just trace it with the pen tool than to try and find all of those little spots where it's broken. Some of these are close enough to where when it plots, you'll rip them out and it won't really matter. But some places, like in this area right here, you can see it's kind of got a little wavy and doesn't fit. And then you might not want that for the image. This image, it wouldn't really matter too much because the textured edges of the leaves would just kind of blend into that. But if it was like the top of a motorcycle tank and something behind it coming through, that not so perfect roundness of the tank might interfere with the way the image reads. So let's go ahead and get the next image in here and show you how to do the tracing with the pen tool.